Well, today is very much the night before Christmas that I'm doing that. It is Christmas Eve today, and I still have one present to do from start to finish. And go figure, not only is it the one that I have been planning the longest, it's Marty's Christmas present. So I'm doing a self-binding blanket again. Remember that one I made in the summer on the hottest day in the world? And now I'm making the other one that I mentioned doing when it cooled off a little bit. And apparently cooling off meant waiting until the very last minute. I think Quiltmas kind of got to me. I started off really ahead of the game, and now here we are. So I'm very excited about this one, so I just need to get it all going. It's not gonna take long, so I tell myself. So I'm gonna be highly caffeinated tonight and doing this so I can get it all done, all wrapped up and ready to go for Christmas morning tomorrow. So I like to Google and look and see what kind of fabrics I can find if I'm looking for like a specific thing. So I wanted to make him a self-binding blanket, and I was like, well, I don't know what to do on the front of it. I know the back's gonna be furry, so it's not gonna be too much. And so it's like, I wonder if Shannon Fabrics has some golf fabric. So I logged on to Shannon Fabrics website and I typed in golf, and they had this. And so I asked my boss at Cali Quilt Co. to say, hey, can you order this? And they did. So we've got some golfing rhinos. I think they're the funniest little thing ever. So he's getting a golf rhino self-binding blanket. I thought, oh, rhinos are gray, so a gray will go with it. They're actually kind of like a cream color, and none of the grays really looked good with it. And I didn't want to do more green, even though green's his favorite color. That would just be a lot of green. And so we're gonna do black on the back. I think it's hide caviar. So I'm doing a 2.5 inch, I'm doing a 2.5 yard length. So I think I'm gonna bring the binding over 3 inches. I don't want it to be super thick, but I don't want it to be super thin. So I think about 3 inches is probably good. Maybe I'll go measure Trixie's to see what I did on hers. I think the one that my mom made for me last year is about 5 inches. So I think a little bit shorter than that. And what I'm gonna do first is I'm gonna use my beautiful metallic Sharpie to mark my lines, my cut lines to make my corners, and also to mark my fold lines. So then when everything comes over, I'll know where I need to line this big piece up to and have it all ready to go. So then I can just top stitch it all and be ready to go. I feel like this is gonna take a lot of pins to go all the way around. So luckily, you've seen me using clover pins a lot for my long arming. Luckily, I happened to get some long arm quilting pins from my aunt for our Christmas Eve that we had yesterday. And I think those will be able to come in handy to help me make it all the way around this without having to pin just one section at a time. So it's gonna be a lot of pinning going on, a lot of minkying, and luckily my floor is generally clear over there because I just had that giant sampler quilt laying on the floor. So my floor is clear, which is nice. And I've got my metallic Sharpies and we are ready to get going. So it looks like we're about 3 inches here because this is a raw edge. And so I think that's what I'm gonna end up doing on the other one. Before I start sewing on the cuddle, I need to switch to a stretch needle, which I feel like this needle probably needs replaced anyways. I don't know when the last time I changed it was, so I'm going to change that. And then I'm going to put the walking foot on because that's going to help go through all those layers, and then we'll be in business. So here's what we've got as far as the outside shell of it. And then I'm going to measure, hello Trixie, I'm going to measure the space between the lines on the top and then bottom so I know how much to trim off of the rhino piece. We're nearly there. See, it goes so quick. All the pins are in. I had to shut Trixie away because she would be way too helpful and this would not have gotten squared in there. So I'm gonna go release the Kraken, get this loaded in my sewing machine and zigzag it, and then this is done. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and keep working on getting my stitches all fluffed out with my stiletto, but I can say it's all done, even if that for whatever reason doesn't get finished before I gift this. Either way, I am super happy with how this turned out. It's gonna be a really good size with it being 2.5 yards before cutting it and folding it down. It's gonna be a good, nice couch blanket for him, and with little goofy little rhinos, I think it'll be super fun and hopefully enjoyed really well, especially since it's been really cold here lately in our area of California. I don't know why, but he always comments on how cold I am, so maybe this is just a blanket for me to use. I don't know, we'll see. So I'm gonna give it the Trixie test, but I think just from the video we've seen so far, I think we know it's gonna pass and get good Trixie results. So I highly suggest self-binding blankets if it's your first voyage into Minky and Cuddle. They're super quick, super easy, a little warm for a lot of crawling around. If you have a cat like Trixie or a dog, shut them away because nothing's gonna get done if you're trying to pin it all up, but otherwise, everything went together great.